Hello, people. This is Krista coming to you to talk about spy devices, listening devices, recording devices in your home and in hotel rooms and Airbnbs. So I want to first talk about my own experience, and I also want to share some anecdotal news stories that I saw online of different spy devices in hotels and whatnot. So this is you know how homes have these outlets. Some have the green button and the test and the reset, and others do not. Um, I believe that the ones with the green light on them have more horsepower, have more um, voltage, and they're more prone to being used with a device inside of them than the standard outlet. And so I recommend covering all of the outlets that you don't use regularly. At least I try to cover most of them, especially the rooms that I want privacy. This is just my kitchen, but it has a view into the whole because it's an open floor plan, has a view, into the whole kitchen, dining, living area from this particular outlet. And what I heard coming out of this when it was changing from day to night was a motorized computer sound, like I don't know if it's called a camera, but it was a motorized sound coming out of the outlet. And so when I initially covered this, excuse me, with tape, painter's tape, but then I found my outlet covers, and these are plastic covers. You can get like a box of 30. They're very, very cheap. But what was interesting is it was difficult to plug in the cover all the way into the socket. And that's one of the things I learned on a video from like a police officer, someone who was doing a news story about what to look for in these things. They say that the sockets that are hard to get a plug in those are more apt to have the device. Obviously, not every plug has a device, right? To record people, but those are it's more common. It's a flag. If you can't, you really struggle to get the plug inside of it. Um, So I recommend covering all the outlets. The others, obvious one is our smoke alarms. They can have cameras inside of them. There have been news stories about smoke alarms in hotel rooms with video cameras inside of them. I know some people travel with the painter's tape, that blue painter's tape that's easy to, just rip right off when you're done using it. Um, I also saw a story of a woman in Colorado, a college student who had a smoke alarm in her bedroom. Her male roommate, put a video camera inside of that, and he worked for Space Force in the United States. Um, the other big thing to look for are LED bulbs. Some bulbs can record, and yeah, some bulbs have that ability, they can install a camera in them. In my case, I found that I had all of my LEDs tied, they all had a Bluetooth. They were tied to Bluetooth. Like they came up in my Wi-Fi as an option to connect into my address and my bulbs. So my whoever owns this property has created the ability to log into the LEDs on Bluetooth to see. So, my understanding is technology is light years above what is rolled out to the standard public. So there are things, that we just don't know about that aren't obvious. Obviously, people say they're, pinhole cameras and things like that. But I believe it's just much easier to put in a light bulb and call it a light bulb and have, full view into anything you want. And that's why there are laws in some states where they don't, even they want to ban halogen bulbs, like California, for instance. So these are just some things you could. Oh, and your Wi-Fi. Your Wi-Fi is there are videos showing that Wi-Fi can even see through walls and record a person's every move. It will know exactly where you are in the house. So that's why, some people who call themselves targeted individual, they say like, why is it when I step out of my house or my apartment, there are immediately a bunch of random people outside, wait, or cars, just they always know when I'm coming outside. Wi-Fi is a big culprit as well. Um, and I would say odds are the simplest way is the Wi-Fi. And so you've got two options. One is just accept the fact. If you have video cameras, you want to keep the Wi-Fi on, or you could unplug your Wi-Fi when you leave the house. And people may or may not know when you're coming and going, so you have that level of privacy. For me, my smoke alarm was glowing a very bright green, and I knew that something was up. What you can do to cover smoke alarms when they're, out of reach and you don't have a high enough ladder is you can get a broom, some sort of long object like a broom, and roll a large piece of tape, duct tape, painter's tape, and roll it, where it's connected together, and then just tap it onto the area of the alarm that looks like it has a little hole with a light coming out of it. Use your own discretion. That I don't want people to say do what I tell them to do, and they say that they covered up the actual smoke piece itself that would detect smoke. So use your own discretion. But if you want privacy when you're walking around the house, your smoke alarm is like me is right outside my bathroom. And sometimes you might, in the middle of the night, walk to the bathroom, or, you want to take a shower, and walk to the shower without your clothes on. You don't want your smoke alarm recording your every move. So that's it. I hope these tips are helpful for you, and you get the, outlet covers if that is something that you're motivated by, and painter's tape are some simple tips and solutions for additional privacy in your home. Thanks for listening.